Welcome to the next episode in the Truck Camper Build series. If you're new here, this series is at this time over 50 parts of completely rebuilding / restoring a 1977 Sunline truck camper. It's involved, and if you want to see how involved, or if you're in the middle of some sort of restoration on your own, check out this playlist because it may help you. In the previous episode, we were putting a lot of the exterior components / appliances into the exterior of the camper. It was a lot of footage. I cut it right in half. I slashed it like a samurai. And now we're in the second portion of the exterior appliance reassembly. So stay tuned because that's what we're doing. We have the water heater, which I have butyl tape on here. It's very close to going in. The gas line is fed through the hole here, so I'm just gonna get the threads started. We have some flexibility with the connections in the back, so I'm just evening this out, and these will go right there. The gas line that comes in from inside of the camper, it penetrates through the sheet metal water heater framework, and then they give you a grommet here, rubber grommet that goes in here, and I split it so that I can put it back on there. And what I'm going to do is, to seal this up, I'm going to use RTV silicone, and we got the Dinkle Popper here, and it's easy cheese. We have clear now because the black's dried up. Let's see if this works. Oh yeah, which you're gonna not be able to really see. And you take some Windex, which I have in this little container. Get your finger all wet there, and you just morph it right to where you want it. Alright, so there's the hinges. I just gotta hammer these down. Here we go. Water heater's on there. Definitely a reminder of the condition of what this camper once was.
The rustic look.
I got the propane tank storage, cleaned it up a little bit from where it was stored, and got that inserted in there into the spot. And now I got to figure out the whole trim situation that went around this in the past. This is where the propane tanks are strapped down, and here is the trim that goes around there, and I got to clean this up still. Haven't looked at this since I took it off. And inside here, where the propane tank storage compartment, the back side of it, that's a shot of that, and that's from previous videos. So just getting stuff figured out with these trim pieces. Back at it, removing butyl. Just got the trim all buffed with that Speedies. I didn't buff it, but I just polished it with that Speedies metal polisher with some 4/0 steel wool, and got the back sides nice and prepped with mineral spirits and naphtha like on the other videos for the butyl tape. Got it done. Here's the door. Crazy to think about. The ones where you needed a wrench, but now you have these ones with their acme nuts. Oh man, this is tight. Wow. Now we're on the water, and I want to see how many water leaks there are because it's been a while. So we got air here at 40 pounds PSI out of the air compressor, and I made this a long time ago. Look at the video. And this is just an adapter to get to a garden hose. And so now it's hooked up, and then here's a valve. And what this is going to do is introduce 40 PSI of air pressure into the water system, and we'll probably hear a leak because I can't remember what valves I need to turn off and on. And essentially, if there's a leak, we'll hear it. So let's see. There's a leak somewhere.
Take your time.
Alright, so I just lit the pilot light in the furnace. I'm going to turn it to the on position. So now I'm going to turn the thermostat on to hopefully kick the furnace on. I haven't done this in a while, so I just want to make sure everything works right. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Is it really smoky? So it's the next couple days here, and we're working on figuring out this battery ventilation intake for when the batteries are charging and then the potential off-gassing. So back in the battery box location, that's where you're looking at. So you have plywood framework, and down in there is the aluminum, which is about 3 inches away and kicked on a 45 because of the way that the aluminum has a curve to it there. So you got to figure out how to get a piece of pipe, have this on the outside, and then have a piece of pipe or tubing that connects to this rubber Fernco coupling. Tell you what, that is the ugliest elbow of a bend in a piece of pipe that I have ever seen. Ain't gonna win the blue ribbon at the county fair. Should we pressure test it? Give it the old bugle? We're good. No pinholes, it didn't burn through in there. We can get our piece that we need. So now we have to figure out how to incorporate this piece. So I'm just wrapping cheap electrical tape around the pipe to increase the OD so that this other pipe becomes a press fit. I think that's going to be it right there. So this is what I came up with. I wrapped electrical tape around that portion of it and shoved that on there just like this side. And this is going to go up in there like that. I am going to put a little bit of glue here. Just because. I'm also going to put on some butyl tape onto the flange where it's going to mate to exterior aluminum. So now we have the butyled, ready to go contraption right up in there. Lining it up. Push it in there. So this is what you have for the receiving end on the other side. So I just push this up in there, and now you just drop this down. I'm gonna have to use two hands. Drop this down, and you get the idea. I gotta use two hands so I don't break anything. I'm gonna equalize that and tighten them, be done. There you go. Job's complete. Look at those rain clouds out in the distance. Looking pretty rough up on the mountain. What do you think? So I've got this new vent line stove vent that vents the outside air, and I ordered it because the one that I have isn't going to prevent water from entering into the camper that easily, because this has a little flap that you can lock into place when you're washing it or when you're not, pretty much when you're not using it or traveling or whatever. but I'm gonna tell you right now, this thing is pretty chintzy compared to the old one. I'll show you. The old louver here is just a piece of louvered aluminum. I mean, it's pretty stout, but there's nothing to prevent the rain other than the louvers. Like if you were to wash it, it would go right into the camper. It's no good. And it was rusting out. The inside where the vent hood was rusting out in this area, so I know the water was getting in there. So I'm gonna put this piece on as an extra layer of protection. Prepping the furnace exterior vent cover. Scuffing it, getting it ready for paint. I got the furnace cover painted with header paint, or high temp paint. It's up to 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. Looks like it was together once before. There you go. Now you can see that cover. Bring it back down to normal. There you go. So here is the rear passenger side compartment door, which it's obviously off the camper right now, and it is pretty rough shape. The door itself is made out of some sort of particle board, and it's like falling apart and all squishy. It has like a vinyl, I don't know, backing. But anyway, I am going to use this plate of aluminum to replace the door. So it's going to be a little bit of an involved project, but we got to see what we got to do. This is like the days when I was disassembling the camper. Look at this. It's literally sawdust in there. Wow. So what they did was they took a piece of aluminum and then a piece of like vinyl or plastic, sandwiched a piece of Luan paneling in there, and then obviously the paneling got wet, and this is what was left. These were the pieces that were the edges of the door, and then the door was wedged in between here, and then it would open up like this, right? It was a door frame essentially. So these pieces here were designed for that aluminum and all the wood and all the sandwiching. Well, the piece of aluminum plate that I have is 1/4 inch, I think, or 3/16, and it's a little bit loose. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking them in the vise and squeezing them and making them a little bit more of a tighter fit. Pretty amazing what that Speedies does. This polish. You can obviously see where I've done it and where I have not done it. Getting the door ready. Got it marked for the dimensions. And I got a metal circular saw blade. So we're going to see how this goes. Here's the aluminum plate. It is probably like a number 4 finish. And I scuffed it with 220 because we're gonna paint it. It's a shame, but this doesn't matter. I bought it for the same price as if it was already matte finish. So we're gonna get this scuffed. Here's what we got. Got the framework, obviously the door here, and this is just mocked up. Here you go. So this is just to show you what I got going on. So this here is the framework and door. The right thing would have been to dry fit it without the butyl tape on it, but we're doing this way and we're just sending it home, just doing it wet. I don't know, it looks pretty good. Went to the hardware store, got the correct screws for the compartment, did lock screws, or did lock nuts with stainless screws so they all match. And now, had to go get a 3/4 inch hole saw because I didn't have one. We're gonna drill for the lock. Wow. Got it on there with the lock here. And I bought seals to replace the seals. Next project is to seal up the areas that are required around the air conditioner and make like a flashing. So that's what we got to do here. I saved this packing foam that I got from wherever, I don't even know. And that's what I'm using to shove in there. It's a really tight fit there, but I got it up on the top here and it's flush with the siding, and then the flashing will go on top of that, and that's just to kind of give it more insulation and support. The old 1978 Firestone ice scraper, get you through the blizzard. Pushing it in there, keep on going. This is what I came up with for the first trim piece. I'm using the little bit thicker aluminum I have, and this piece is gonna go right there. I'm gonna put butyl tape. There's the first piece of trim, and don't forget there will be caulk after this. There we go. Not the prettiest trim, but it is complete. Other than, like I said, everything is going to get caulked. That's like that gap right there. It's all going to get caulked at the end. We are going to continue the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation situation. See the old video? We're actually going to permanently mount all of the marker and all the lights. So let's get to it.